How did we stray so far from perfection? The good old days, what most yearn so fondly for. The days of aesthetics, of beauty, of form. When the pursuit of muscle mass was put on hold to dream of something even better. Symmetry. And then, everything changed. When the mass monsters attacked. While they had symmetry when looking from left to right, the beauty of proportions was lost. Lost in the sauce. Steroids. When all judges care about is who can pack on the most muscle in the off-season, women around the world dry up like the Sahara Desert. How did we stray so far?
Yeah, buddy. Lightweight, baby!
What's up, guys? I'm Josh and I Lift Things, and I'm here to talk about aesthetics, how to look as good as possible. So while hopefully that melodramatic intro was entertaining, it's also half true. While the mass monster era of bodybuilding was and is awesome, it's just not my cup of tea. And I'd wager if given the opportunity, none of you would really want to look like that, let alone do what it takes in order to look like that. When we talk about aesthetics, we're not just talking about having big muscles and low body fat, although that is half the battle. What we're really talking about is symmetry, a perfect ratio, where every body part is in proportion to the next. Not enough people train with this in mind, even if they think they are, or their goal is bodybuilding or aesthetics. FYI, I read about this all the way back in 2011 on T Nation. So I'm going to be heavily relying on this article to explain some of this stuff as well as use some calculations. The main takeaway is this: humans search for symmetry in everything. And it turns out what we often find the most symmetrical, we often find the most appealing. The universe is no different, with everything being created with symmetry in mind. For starters, I think you should understand what the golden ratio is. So, in mathematics, two quantities are in the golden ratio if their ratio is the same as the ratio of their sum to the larger of the two quantities. Expressed algebraically, for quantities A and B, with A greater than B and B being greater than 0, A plus B over A equals A over B equals phi. Here is a decent illustration of it if you do not understand what I just said. Math is hard sometimes. I'm not going to accept all cookies. You can't fucking pay me enough to do that. So this website is a decent example of just showing you tons of things in nature that follow the golden ratio. So here you can see that flower petals, seed heads, isn't that awesome? Sacred geometry. Pine cones, fruits and vegetables, tree branches. Shells follow the golden ratio. This is a very famous image in case you've seen that before. Spiral galaxies tend to follow the golden ratio. Hurricanes follow it. You can even find it in faces, which is very important for what we're about to talk about. It's in tons of things. You can just find example after example. So how should we go about our training in order to try to encompass the golden ratio? Let me help you and give you some measurements and calculations. This article will be linked down in the description below in order to help you, but essentially he goes over the same things I've talked about, how we have kind of given up on the idea of being proportionate. Here he discusses the golden ratio, how bodybuilders used to know about it, and here are the actual ratios themselves. So in order to follow this guide, you're going to have to take a couple measurements. For instance, your arm size should be about 252% of your wrist size. For just some quick math here, if you had a wrist size of 7 inches in circumference, 252% of that means that your upper arm should be about 17.6 inches. Just try to shoot for those 18-inch guns. Here, your calf size should be equal to your arm size. So in the same example, you would want roughly 17.5-inch calves. I almost said quads. For neck size, equal to your arm size. So again, about 17 inches in this example. Your waist size is your lean condition waist. Nice little typo there. The reason this is formatted in this way is because the shoulder size is 1.618, or the golden ratio, multiplied by your lean condition waist. So if right now you're bulking and you have a 36-inch waist, you're not going to make your shoulder measurement off of that. Instead, if you drop down to say, a reliable 10-ish%, something that you could maintain for a long bout of time, that is the waist measurement you should be using your calculations for. And then your thigh size is 175% of knee size. So if you had a knee size of 14 inches, which would be fucking massive, you would want about 25-inch quads. Here he goes in a little bit more description. These are called constants because they're always the same. Your wrist, for example, is going to measure the same for your entire adult life. The same is true for your knee. To begin, take both of these measurements, starting with the knee. Once you have that, follow the formula and determine the goal girth for your quad. Next, measure the wrist of your non-dominant hand. Using the formula, you'll be able to determine the goal measurement for your upper arm, which also gives you the goal girth for your neck and calves. So here they give an example of someone. This guy is 213 pounds, 14% body fat, waist of 36.5 inches, shoulders 50.5 inches, wrist 7.5, upper arm 17, calf 17, neck 18, knee 15, thigh 23. So this guy is actually moderately close to where he wants to be. The calf, neck, and upper arm are all pretty synonymous. And with our past measurement of the wrist being of 7 inches, he has a little bit more to go, but not too far. And a knee of 15 inches needs a 23-inch thigh. So here is a table for the parts measured, what the goal would be, and then the difference on what is needed. So to reach the golden ratio, he needs to add 2 inches to his upper arm, which means he's going to need a lot of tricep work. For the calf, another 2 inches, probably just more high frequency work on there. The neck, plus 1 inch, maybe just needs to start training it. Who knows how much they've actually, gone about that. The thigh, get them fucking squats in, call Tom Platz immediately. The shoulders, 1.25. The shoulder measurement goes all the way around, so that's not actually that much mass he has to add all around. Even your chest will kind of ruin that shoulder measurement. And they're assuming if when he's lean, he would be closer to 32 inch, that's what he knows he has to get down in order for the shoulder measurement to work out. So then there's a plan. They got to diet him down to 10%, try not to lose any mass along the way. From there, start bulking cycle, where their goal is to fill out shoulders and add some size to his neck. They reassess, and then you engage in a number of different specialization programs. So for instance, you could train everything else at a moderate dose, trying to keep you from falling off whatsoever. This is known as a maintenance period. So maybe if you're happy with your quads and you're doing currently 10 sets a week for them, maybe you drop that down to 5 sets a week so you can throw a little bit more volume onto the places you want to build up. This is what specialization is known as. I don't recommend it for beginners, but if you're an intermediate or someone really trying to optimize the routine and build up certain imbalances, I think it's something that could be useful. If you're an advanced athlete or someone preparing for a show or anything else, you're not watching this video, like and subscribe. But if you are for some reason, you should probably throw in some specialization. The guys at Renaissance Periodation love training like this, especially with the help of, classic. And now here we have an addendum for you tall fucks. Someone like me who's 6'2" with a 74-inch wingspan, it's going to be hard to build up to 18-inch arms. So, for example, a 16-inch upper arm on a guy who's 5'7" will look huge, but won't be nearly as impressive on someone who's 6'2". So he came up with a little cheat sheet. It's not exact, of course, but will give you a rough guideline. While I still recommend starting with the previous formulas when it comes to arm size, the following chart will give you a general recommendation based on your height. So for me, 6'1.5" to 6'2.5", my arm size should be 17.5 to 18 inches, regardless of my wrist. And guys, that is the general idea. This article will be linked down in the description in case you want to look at it yourself and get some calculations for yourself. But I highly recommend, I had a measuring tape over there. I don't know where. Oh, I found it. I highly recommend picking up one of these bad boys. This is the Terked body measuring tape. You can put this shit around here, pop it in the hole, squeeze it. Is that a 16.5-inch neck? Make sure you look up how to properly take a measurement because some places call for different types of measurements. So I don't want you to get confused if you look up how to measure your shoulders and then you're looking up how to get like a fucking seam for a suit jacket. They are different measurements. Get them all written down, figure out what you need to get to, and then make a plan of attack. If you need help on that plan of attack, message me, leave a comment down below, join the Discord, post it on the subreddit, do whatever you gotta do to get a hold of me and I will help you get there. And guys, that is the video. This is the recipe on how to look awesome and proportionate. If you like this style of content, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share to a buddy, join all of the socials that you can. They're right here and they will link me down in the description. That was a bad sentence. Leave a comment down below if I'm an idiot or what I got wrong, or if you want to tell me how much you love me. I very much appreciate it and I respond to every single one of them. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.